Can I have your brush?
Ah, okay. I think we are on YouTube now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Worldscope Mundane Astrology Discussion. Well, what a month! Especially early this month, we have a Mercury retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, and just before we started, we just talk about a personal experience, and then we say never ask astrologer about the Mercury retrograde. We can always find something that, oh my God, it works on me this time. So, well, today we have Anna, we have Lian, we have Luisa, we have Malia, Nando, and maybe Grace will join us very soon. So, we Miss Julie, and Julie has work to do. Today she has another presentation. And then Liz is enjoying her time with friends, and Mark has some personal business. So, we should all, let them all enjoy this weekend and hope they will join us in the December. Okay, so well, what's going on this moment? Well, for UK, well, we only care about the BBC. Are we going to privatize BBC soon? Because as they lost money, they maybe need some funding. Liang, can you tell us more?
Yeah. Would you like me to share my screen?
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, let's go. Share. Where is it? There we go. Please be kind to me, Mercury. It hasn't
Here
been
we
one
are.
week.
Here we are.
Do we have it?
Yeah, we have it. We have
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So I could talk about the BBC all night. So, but I can't. So I'll keep it really, really short. Okay. So as we know, the BBC has had a huge crisis this week. It was discovered that they'd edited footage of Trump to mislead the narrative, if you like. Trump is furious, is threatening to sue the BBC for $1 billion if and he wants a public apology, which is fair enough. Okay, so as we know, the BBC is the oldest and largest local and global broadcaster in the world. And its work is funded by an annual TV license, which the people of Great Britain pay for. And the fee is set by the British government, agreed by Parliament. So the BBC and the government are closely tied, let's say that. But it plays such a huge role in British life and culture. You know, its nickname is Anti-Beeb. You know, it's like this trusted thing that generations of British people have grown up with. And it's a British institution. But it's been hit with a lot of scandals over the past few years, you know, Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn, all that stuff. But there's been lots of scandal with internal corruption, political controversy, bias, abusive behavior, misogynistic behavior by its stars that have all been covered up. But if we look back at its history, there's been scandals throughout the years. Okay, so we go back to the 1980s when we had the Falkland War. There was a lot of controversy there about how neutral the BBC was. We go back to the miners' strikes back in 1984, and the news bulletins were edited incorrectly, showing false things from the miners' strikes. So this is nothing new. What we're seeing now with all this scandal. So we've got two charts. The first one, which is when the BBC was created and it was a company. I'll not spend long on this, but just to make you aware, there are two charts. So we have a lovely air stellium there, air perfect for communicating with the sun. And Mercury and Jupiter there, all about communication. Yeah. We've got Mercury and Saturn together, which is about the control of information, isn't it? But also about making information real. And of course, the sun represents the leadership. And, you know, that stellium's ruled by Venus there, which is on the fifth house cusp of entertainment and fun and leisure. And it's in a lovely mutual reception with Jupiter. And that's actually all in a cardinal T square with Mars there. Sorry, I don't have a bubble around Mars there. But that Mars would have been, that was right on the Saturn Pluto conjunction of 2020, wasn't it? So it's no surprise that there is going to be huge historical change in the BBC. Okay. But I think with that Mars and Capricorn and the Sun and Saturn there in that stellium, it's very corporate. All right. We've also got Neptune on the ascendant there, which is all about spreading the entertainment, the fun, reaching the collective. What's interesting too, we've got trans-Neptunian Maki there in Gemini, forming an air trine with Mercury in that air stellium. So this was hugely progressive. Anything about Maki is progressive beyond even Uranus. Okay, so it was very, very progressive for the time. Second chart, which is more relevant for today. All right. So I will focus more on this chart, is when it was turned into a corporation. All right. And it went from a private company to a public service. And this was established under a royal charter, which sets out the BBC's mission and public purposes. And interesting, the current charter ends in 2027, but I'll cover that later. So again, we've got the Sun angular there with Venus in Capricorn. It's very corporate, isn't it? It's like management from the bottom up. Um, Quite controlling, quite powerful. We've got Pluto up there opposite on the midheaven. In the 10th house there. So probably controlling what is actually shared with the public. We've got that moon Saturn in Sagittarius. All right. That's quite matriarchal. That's anti-Beeb, I think, that matriarchal thing. But that's control of information. They're controlling what is shared with the public. The moon represents the people of the country. Moon Saturn, perhaps misogyny. The BBC is renowned for that. And again, we've got a Mercury Maki opposition there across Sagittarius, Gemini, all about innovative communication. Now, what's interesting here, we have Jupiter and Neptune in that opposition there, which again, it's about broadcasting, it's about entertainment. Jupiter and Neptune together can be about inflation too, playing with the truth, perhaps scandal, gaslighting. I don't know, but certainly entertainment, which the BBC is about. It's not just about news, it's about films and programs and entertainment. And in both charts, there's a Mercury Neptune connection. All right. So in this chart, we've got Mercury, Neptune in a fire trine, and Mercury and Neptune are in a sextile in the other chart. Again, Mercury, Neptune, there's potential for miscommunication, playing with the truth. It's about escapism. We watch TV to escape, don't we? But there's two sides to that, I think. So anyway, so when the head of the BBC resigned, which was on the 9th of November, just a few days ago, after the Trump scandal, Mercury and Mars were sort of playing about with these charts here. Yeah, we can see they were going over that Moon Saturn of the second chart and Venus of the other chart. And Mercury's going to be going back over those. Mercury's retrograde now. Oops, sorry. Mercury's retrograde now, and it's going to be sort of playing with those and going back over those. And of course, the BBC have apologized to Trump today publicly. But I think with Mercury going retrograde, there's going to be more coming out. All right. And Mars is going to come over and hit that Mercury there in the corporation chart about 6th or 7th of December. So there might be fireworks then, but I think the first week in December will be quite interesting. Um, And because we're talking about broadcasting, right, we've got to look at Jupiter too, which is going to be a huge player. And both charts have kind of Mercury, Jupiter themes. But I want you to show you the charts of the BBC with the UK 1801 chart because it is a British institution. All right. So we've got the tri-wheel, we've got the 1801 chart in the center, the first BBC chart in the middle, and the second more relevant BBC chart around the outside. No wonder it's a British institution. Look at the BBC's sun right on top of the UK's sun there. So don't tell me that the government and politics have no say in the BBC. It's ingrained there, without a doubt. There's definitely some government control, but again, very corporate. Moving back to Jupiter, so we know Jupiter's just gone retrograde as well, and it's moving through the BBC's 10th house and the UK's 10th house, because this isn't just about the BBC's reputation, it's about the UK. It's the British reputation. If the BBC's lying, it means the UK's lying to the world, if you like. Um, so yeah, we've got Jupiter playing about, and it's going to station um when it goes stations direct in March next year. It's going to be sort of pretty much on top of the BBC's Pluto, which I think is quite significant. All right, so perhaps more legal battles, more push for change, and internal power battles, perhaps. But when I saw that Pluto in the BBC 10th house, it reminded me of Richard Nixon of Watergate fame, because he had Pluto in the 10th house and there was scandal and that fall from, grace, etc., etc. But longer term, um, oops, sorry, what was that there? So some dates. So longer term, the Saturn Neptune build up to the conjunction that we've got coming in February next year, they're going to be huge players in the future of the BBC, because they are going to be, crossing over the descendant of the BBC chart and the UK 1801 chart. All right. Essentially forming a grand cross with the angles of both charts, and forming a square with the sun of the BBC and of the UK chart. So I think this Saturn Neptune, stuff, it's that, they're going to be huge players in the future of the BBC. Neptune's going to be moving between 5 and 10 degrees of Aries through 2027 to 2031. So the BBC perhaps will shift its identity in some way, perhaps away from the UK government and become less corporate. The license fee is in question, so I think the license fee eventually will go. I'll come to that in a minute. And the Royal Charter ends on the 31st of December 2027, when transit Saturn will be making the second of three passes of a square to that BBC sun. So 2027 end of will be a really key time for the BBC. And, we're going to have Pluto forming a square to that eighth house Mars there, through 2028 to 2029 in the eighth house. So I think that's maybe when the BBC will find new ways of funding itself and move away from the license fee, perhaps. But it's kind of just one of those old worn out institutions that the Saturn Pluto conjunction in Capricorn unearthed, and we're still seeing all the corruption sort of being sort of unearthed a lot. So my final slide, I don't want to take any more time because of course Trump is a catalyst. He's an agent for change in all of this. And when we look at his chart compared to the BBC's chart, it's really quite interesting. So Trump's on the outside there, okay, and he's going to push the BBC to evolve. So if we look at his ascendant and Mars right on top of the BBC's Neptune, which, is opposite that Jupiter, he's calling out the BBC's deception. You know, he's calling out their potential to gaslight the world because when they were falsely editing Trump's videos, they were gaslighting the viewers, essentially. Um, and of course, Trump's playing the victim because Trump's Neptune's on the ascendant of the BBC. He's like, look what the BBC's done to me. I'm the victim. And we know Trump does like to play the victim. And then finally, look how Trump's uh, um, moon sun opposition is plugged into the BBC's Mercury there. All right. Again, he's calling them out. And his Mercury, on the pretty much on the well, it's opposite the sun of the BBC and picking up the ICMC of the BBC. So there's a huge angular connection there as well. And of course, what is transit Jupiter doing? It's moving back over Trump's Venus and Saturn there, stationed retrograde on Trump's Venus. So there's going to be more passes of that Jupiter. I don't think Trump is going to drop the legal stuff with the BBC. I think he will keep pushing that, definitely. So, especially when we consider that Jupiter is going to station next year on that BBC's Pluto, so there'll be more legal drama, for sure. There's lots more here. I could have talked about this all night, but I just wanted to pull out a few key points. But I think in the next, 5 years or so, we're going to see a very, very different organization, for sure, and financially and in the way they broadcast and their connection to the British government. So that's it. Sorry, I threw a lot in there, but there you
Thank
go.
you, Leanne. Thank you, Leanne. Any comment? Feel free to, turn on your microphone to join the comment, please.
Yes, I noticed that in both charts for the BBC, in this one, Uranus, and in the other one, the nodal axis, were being hit at the moment by Saturn.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, I thought that has to do with accountability,
yeah.
Mhm.
and limits and okay, and having to pay the price for your own actions. So I thought that was interesting. And I'm not sure. I've been reading the headlines, but I haven't been reading the details. If in spite of those people resigning, this was something done by employees unknown to other authorities or not. I'm just curious because of that Uranus in the sixth.
No, that's a good point though, Maria. No, the head guys knew about it 6 months ago
Okay.
and they hid it. Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah. So they
Oh,
knew about it. Yeah.
okay. So, okay, great.
Yeah. But no, you're right about Saturn on the nodal axis. And I could have talked about these charts for, another hour easily, but
Yeah.
hey, there you go.
Yeah. Um, uh,
I wanted to ask
Louisa?
a question. I didn't notice because I was taking notes. Uh, he resigned when Uranus was already in Taurus.
Let me go back. When did Uranus go? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because it didn't. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of money he is asking for, but since this is funded, BBC is funded by everyone, whether they want it or not.
Mm,
And I was wondering if this Uranus back in Taurus for 3 months is
yeah.
not going and a sign of money, is not going to change something in the way, well, it is funded by everyone, whether they want it or not.
Yeah, it's going to change because people will start refusing to pay the license fee.
Yeah.
And I think like other broadcasting organizations, it will end up streaming. It'll go to a streaming model where people
Mm,
pay each month for it, probably.
mm,
But that won't happen overnight. But it's going to be about the trust is broken with people.
mm.
You know, it's
Yeah,
not just politics. It's like if and it's like people know the BBC are editing videos to make them they're gaslighting the viewers. So if it's happened with Trump more than once, what other things are we being gaslighted with by the BBC? The trust is going.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and again, it's that Uranus, sort of Saturn on the Pisces node. It's like there's no trust anymore.
yeah,
People don't believe in these old institutions.
and we can rebel.
Mm.
Exactly. I'm not paying my license fee.
I'm not,
Yeah,
and because
that's people will
yeah, that's
do.
Taurus. I'm not going to
Yeah.
spend my hard-earned money with you guys.
Exactly, because you don't tell the truth, you lie.
Yeah.
And it's not just about Trump. Apparently they're not neutral about Israel and Hamas in
Mm.
Gaza. You know they're not neutral at all. So
Anna, if you like to unmute yourself.
The upcoming solar eclipses of next year will impact in this opposition Jupiter and Neptune.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
first one, yes, is Jupiter ruler of the third and the sixth. So maybe some changes and in opposition to Neptune. And then in August, in 20 of Leo, will impact Neptune with some degrees apart, but
That's yeah,
and
and
yeah,
the nodal axis next year is going to be moving into Leo Aquarius.
yeah,
Yeah,
Aquarius.
yeah, absolutely.
More things to come. Thank you.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot more change to come. Yeah.
by Anna saying that, and I was just thinking because later Maria going to mention about the new moon because this axis is also on that Jupiter Neptune is also hit by that new moon, isn't it? If I
Yes.
remember
Square.
correctly.
Square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be something. Yeah. Thank you, Liam, for this
You're
amazing
welcome.
presentation. And this is a juicy. I mean, yes, we have that kind of conception. BBC, well, BBC should be nurtured or something, but well, we can see the things there. Well, before that things happen, if anyone tell me no, bias and this and that, well, anyone has bias, but this one, even I don't like Trump, I still feel like, oh, shame on ourselves.
Yeah.
How could we do that? To be honest, even I don't like Trump, but this is, well, you send him a huge gift, jackpot. He's
Yeah.
going to cash it. He's going to cash it.
Oh,
So,
he
well,
will use this. He will not let go of this. No.
oh, definitely not. So, Maria, are you ready? So Maria today is going to talk about it coming up new moon and what should we aware about it? You are okay. You are mute, Maria.
Yes, I know,
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
sorry.
No, it's okay. So I just wanted to look at the new moon because I have a different way of looking at it because I use draconic, So this new moon is going to be, to me, one of the most challenging new moons in the year. We know that Scorpio has to do with, it's a water sign, it's cold, it's wet. In personal terms, in the body, it rules. We know that it rules the I don't remember how you say it. Okay, yes, genital organs, etc. So, if this new moon in our charts hits a point, a planet or an angle, we should take care of that. But when we look at the new moon, we find that not only is it conjunct Mercury and exactly conjunct Mercury and the black moon and opposite Uranus, that is quite explosive already, right? That opposition to Uranus. but also that in this chart, both the moon and Pluto are out of bounds. And a moon, when planets are out of bounds, we know that they just, do as they please. They just don't follow the rules, okay? But also to add to that, moon opposition Uranus and the moon being out of bounds, we have that the moon is in parallel to Pluto and Mars is also in parallel to Pluto. So this is not only an explosive, we can expect something to explode, to be explosive because of that opposition, something unexpected because of the opposition to Uranus, but also power struggles are going to be extremely present in this. And also, of course, powerful people or powerful countries or countries trying to, out of the blue or unexpectedly trying to control other people, other countries. So we can expect that. And one of the ways of looking at new moons is looking at the phases of the moon. So this new moon will take, I'm sorry, this is wrong. This new moon is at 28 degrees of Scorpio, but 9 months from this day, we are going to have a quarter moon also at 28 degrees of Scorpio. And in 18 months, we're going to have a full moon at 28 degrees of Scorpio. So anyone having planets or angles in that degree, they can see what was being born with this new moon, and of course what we needed to release because of that opposition to Uranus during this new moon. But one of the things I want to focus on in this new moon is Mars, because Mars is quite near within orb of Antares, and Antares is a star of the nature of Mars and Jupiter, okay? So it is warlike, okay? And it is conjunct Mars. And we know that when stars are conjunct a planet of their own nature, they become more powerful still in what we can expect from those stars. So why should I be looking at Mars conjunct Antares in this new moon? Okay, yes, you could say Mars is the ruler, one of the rulers of Scorpio, so we can expect Mars to be important. But when I look at the draconic chart, which, as you have many times seen me use, the draconic chart is a chart that uses the zodiac of the nodes, of the lunar nodes, we see that the new moon is going to be at very, very near Mars. The new moon is in Sag, it's at 12 or 13 degrees of Sag, and this Mars is at 11 degrees of Sag. So this is telling us that, again, explosions, not only unexpectedness, but also explosions. And why explosions? Because Mars explodes. We have this parallel of Mars with Pluto, okay? And Mars and Pluto, still more explosions. Mars and Uranus, you generally see lots of explosions and accidents and unexpected accidents with Mars and Pluto and Uranus. And why am I saying Mars and Uranus? Because this new moon is on Mars and draconic Uranus is opposite this Mars, okay? And because Mars is in Sag and the draconic new moon is in Sag, I am expecting long range sort of attacks, not immediate, but long range, because Sag has this feeling of something that travels, okay? And Mercury is involved. So I'm thinking, of course, this has been going on for quite a time now, for quite long now, but I'm expecting drones, the presence of drones is going to be, to me, very, very important because of that Mercury. But what I wanted to say is beware, because this new moon is going to bring, in my opinion, long-range attacks and also maybe accidents related to means of transports, airplanes, trains, cars, something unexpected and explosive. Okay, so that is what I wanted to share with you today.
Thank you, Maria. It's very inspiring, and thank you for pointing out that the Mars is conjunct aligned with the Antares. Yes, that is pretty interesting, especially when we mentioned about the BBC things and this new moon. This new moon is going to square BBC and the Trump and the hip into it. And just remind me what Bernadette Brady talking about the Antares. It's not only with Mars related, but also in the kind of a Persian view related to god of light, Mazda, which is also god of integrity. So about honesty, like BBC editing the things come out and but like you say, explosive. That is huge. Thank you so much, Maria, for sharing this, and also so interesting when we also put the draconic chart on this new moon, and it's kind of wow. It fresh our eyes. It kind of added another layer. It's added another layers. Yes, that's so interesting. Well, also for coming up, we will have Anna because it's not only Trump and BBC are arguing. I think another two country have a little bit of action, isn't it, Anna? Could you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, sure. Let me um, let me know if you see my
Yes, we see it. Thank
screen.
you.
Okay, so the relationship with Peru and Mexico has always been of friendship, but lately, in maybe these 7 years, there has been a breakup. This because the alignment, the current government in Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum and previously AMLO, López Obrador, are friends of Castillo, Evo Morales, Correa, so are in this part of thinking. And the current president, Heri, is in the other side. So lately, the Mexican embassy in certain countries have become a sort of cave to escape. Do you remember that maybe 1 year ago I talked about the Ecuador at the raid in the Mexican embassy in
Mm.
Quito? Well, we have something not similar, but we expect that it's not similar because it will be a problem. So this late conflict started because there was in jail the Prime Minister of Castillo, Betsy Chavez, and she was with some trials and then she was liberated. After being liberated, nobody knew where she was, and then we knew that she was in the Mexican embassy. Hmm? So she is very close because she worked with Castillo, former President Castillo, who also wanted to escape, but the Peruvians captured him and didn't allow to do that. And the family of Castillo is also in Mexico. So there is a tendency that everybody that has charges here go to an embassy and escape. And the excuse is that they are persecuted, political persecuted. Okay, so there has been some problems, and this Peruvian president did is to cut relationships, diplomatic relationship. It is important to mention only diplomatic relationships. The commercial continues. And then, declare non grata person to Claudia Sheinbaum as well, expulse the ambassador, the Mexican ambassador in Lima. Okay, so and Mexico responded that it was unilateral, disproportionate, etc. Okay, so this is not the first time Peru has been pointing that Mexico acts as a sort of escape for certain people. And it's not the first time that we have problems with the Mexican ambassador, but it's because of this group of people that former president and this former prime minister. Okay, so because they are expected to have this sentence, so they want to escape, and Mexico provides that. The former prime minister is still in the Mexican embassy in Lima, and it is supposed that Peru has to give the permission for her to fly. Technically speaking, Peru has to give that document because Peru forms part of an agreement, and he has to obey. But what Peru is doing now is not to give that permission and ask to the international legal department to ask for some solution about that. So we still don't know what will happen. But fortunately, the commercial relationships continue. Okay, so well, Peru declared that Claudia Sheinbaum is a persona non grata. And expulsed the prime minister. And also the ambassador of Cuba was also expulsed from Peru because he is linked to some spy information, espionage information, okay? But it's not related to that. So this is the chart of Peru and this is the chart of Mexico. We only have 2 months of difference. So we only, we only have 2 months of difference, and well, practically the planets are kind of similar, but we can see here in the 7th house that the moon is there in the Scorpio, and Mexico also celebrates the Day of the Dead. So there are many customs that is very typical from that country. Okay, so it's practically very similar in a certain way. Okay, I will skip this because there is something that I would like to highlight afterwards. Well, this is the solar ingress for both countries. We can see here that in the 5th house, I consider the 5th house, the tradition consider the 5th house the house of ambassadors. We have here the Mars for Peru and Jupiter in detriment for Mexico. For Mexico. Okay, so this is just a quick view. We can see also the 9th house. We have some elements here, but I want to highlight the following as well. Where it is. Okay, yes. This is the chart of the both presidents, the Peruvian one and Claudia Sheinbaum. We can have here that we have some commonalities. For example, they share the same Jupiter in Pisces. No? The 7th house of Geri is the Chiron of Claudia Sheinbaum. And the Mercury of Claudia Sheinbaum is the midheaven of Geri. So what I observe only this is that it's probable that it will be a conversation. I hope that in good terms, but there could be something that is that could be a potential agreement or something to soften this situation. Okay, something to soften this situation. But this is only just the top of the iceberg of something that is happening many years ago, which is this. This is the composite chart of Peru and Mexico. And what it is outside is the solar eclipse. I casted here the solar eclipse from all these dates. When Castillo ended his term, he wanted to escape to Mexico and he was captured. So I took the eclipses that happened before that event and the following ones. What I observed in this composite chart is that this sequence of solar eclipses have been impacted in this composite chart. First in the 11th house, then to Jupiter, then midheaven, then IC. And then this of the midheaven have been crucial. So it is that the relationship has been eroded by the effect of the solar eclipse, among other factors for sure. No? But I observed that Jupiter, the midheaven, and then yes, and the IC, and then and Venus as well, had been impacted in this relationship. And in the next year, the solar eclipse of February will impact in the 8th house, in the cusp of the 8th house. There will be a lunar eclipse that will impact in the North Node as well. So my sensation is that this sequence of talking about the future, the government, the project, etc., may have an effect in the economic side. I hope that this can be solved because if we don't want to be with cutting relationship with anybody at the end, and especially with Mexico because we have some similarities, ancestral culture, etc. But if this is not solved, it could impact the resources, maybe the commercial relationship or the money. In this last months, Mexico asked visa for Peruvians to go to Mexico. Peru wanted to do the same, but at the end, Peru decided not to do that because we prefer to have movement, the visitors to our country. But it is that this relationship had been eroding little by little because there is a defense of people that we want to charge. Because they have two different sides of the story. So this is what I wanted to highlight. I hope that the relationship will have some good news. My sensation is that the president won't give the permission unless he is pressed to do that, or maybe to make it the decision will be done for the upcoming president in the next election that will be held next year. I hope that
Thank
they
you.
will. Okay.
Thank you, Anna.
No, yeah.
Not finished yet. Sorry.
Oh no, this is very. I will pass it very quickly. These are the asteroids. This is the chart of Peru with the asteroid Peru and asteroid Mexico. We can have here Mars and Peru, and we are creating now a T-square with transiting Mexico. Mexico squaring Mexico, Saturn in the other side, creating a grand square. Only checking asteroid Peru, Mexico. And for the chart of Mexico, Peru is here and is now with a square with a transiting nodal axis. Yeah. So the asteroids are always present, okay? Always present. And then this is the ending up with Peru and Mexico. And now this is the slide I want to tell you, turn the building up, which is the chart of Mamdani. He's born in Uganda. This is his natal Uganda asteroid. And when he was elected, Mars was over there. And transit in Uganda was in 13 of Taurus, in which the full moon happened, the degree of the full moon. So they are always present. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Any comment? I thought Maria was about to say something.
Yes, because the upcoming new moon hits the second house of Peru and the eighth of Mexico. And you mentioned, this could be the onset of economic problems, etc.
Thank you,
Definitely. Leanne?
Yeah, I thought the composite chart was really interesting because Jupiter's stationed on the ascendant and it's going to be passing back over. But also the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that we're having next February will be opposite the Venus, which was at 1 Libra.
Yes, Venus on the chart.
Neptune at 0 Capricorn, so it's forming like a T-square. So yeah, I think that will be a pivotal point in the relations between the two countries. Yeah, hopefully good. Hopefully a softening.
Yes, it will soften or some. Yes,
Yeah.
something somebody has to start creating
Luisa.
peace.
Well, I had never done or seen done a composite charts of two countries, and I was really impressed at how well they worked. And then Maria made a comment on the chat saying that Jerry is very young. I mean, he's much older than Mamdani. And last year, I think, or 2 years ago, at Rod's conference, I talked about generations and generations of politicians, and how we are still governed by this generation of politicians with Pluto in Leo. And then all the others doesn't seem to be doing anything except the younger generations. So I was pointing to these younger generations to actually bring something completely new, and all these Plutos in Libra and Virgo being extremely ineffective.
I was wondering when you say that, I was wondering, could that the Aquarius no.
And how, that's just a comment that we see that because if we equate, my point was not equating with Generation Z and Generation X.
Mhm.
It's more with the Pluto in a sign generation. It looks
Yeah.
what motivates them and what
Yeah.
actually motivates the people who are now voting.
Yeah.
And it was a conjunction of, I mean, putting together the generations that are up to voting compared to the politicians that are representing us.
Mhm.
So it does not surprise me. The younger the better,
Definitely.
unless they're women.
Definitely. Well, why are we talking about Mamdani? We know we
Thank
couldn't
you.
avoid him when he been elected. It was really, really, I don't want to say surprise, but he is a unconventional from his campaign. He was like, he recorded a video say, I'm going to do one thing that the other politician never do it, never say it. Please don't give us money. And that was very interesting. And for most of the people, that was like, yes, especially today's news talking about the people in the United States want the rich people out of their political. I wish you good luck, really. But we have Nando going to show us more about his observation. Nando, are you ready? You
I open the
are.
microphone. Can I
Yes,
share
you are.
share the screen, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So let me see what I have here. Sharing the screen. Oh, it's more complicated sometimes than I think.
Don't worry, we have a Mercury to blend.
Okay. All right. All right. So let me see. The Louisa helped me last time to open the screen. Let me see if I got it right.
Luisa, we
Uh,
need you.
see if I
Yeah,
learn
yeah,
it.
Laura.
Okay.
Yeah, there. Yeah, that one. Yes,
What about it?
perfect.
Okay. So since I was trying to, get like a short talk, I had to make a lot of decisions in terms of this talk because it's going to be an ongoing subject because it's a really like Obama election. It's a historical and within the country and the culture, but also for the world. And there is a lot of things, as we see our colleagues to do, like composite chart, synastry between the country and the city. So I'm going to focus a little bit on this. Let me see if I can. How can I move it? Okay. So I chose to look at the inauguration chart because whoever won the election would have to do. And later I'm going to talk about his chart to see that the Libra rising is be like a public image of his term, and Libra is his. It has a connection with the new mayor natal chart because, as I said, we have to do this connection, and it shows also this axis for. It's very important because for me it's very close to the solstice point where we have the maximum declination for the planets. Is when we work with declination rather than longitudes, and so we see a lot of signs of Cancer and the Moon as being connected to the to this term for his. Um, okay, so this is became bilingual written, but I was trying to clean up. I was not able to. So, anyways, we can see a lot of personal, like more what we would call in natal astrology, personal planets, is very close together in this and with the IC, because and it's interesting when they have like a cluster we call, even if it's not in the same sign, we see that especially like Mercury, Venus, and Mars, also Jupiter and Saturn, they rules two zodiac signs, so they bring that the subjects of the chart, in the case of the meaning of the houses are from mundane astrology, they will concentrate on the bottom of the chart, which has to do with like the land, the city, and but also opposition to the government. And one of the third house that we have some planet is, he has already talked about during the campaign and now in his speeches, that he is very much interested in free mobility and to ease the education and train systems, the Wi-Fi to ease especially the daily life of workers and students that has to do a lot of traveling and a lot of communication. And so I think that would help low-income families, and this is shown in the inauguration chart. As we saw before, the Cancer midheaven will be really connected to the government, especially because the Jupiter is exalted, although retrograde, in the 10th house. And I think I will have the time to show here maybe that the system some people are familiar with. I think there is one American astrologer that I read something about, and plus I think Maria remember I always forget the country he's from, Europe, but he was a very known astrologer in Uruguay. He's Boris Christoph, if I'm not mistaken. He would also mention that, especially in like government or elections, we would consider, like say, a 4-year term, let's say, like it is in Brazil and the US. So the 4-year terms, if we look into the progressive ascendant, we have one quadrant for 1 year of the term. So from the Libra ascendant to Capricorn, this is going to be the first year of his term. And we can see a lot of action at the end of the year, okay? Because the first quadrant would be the first year, the second quadrant from Capricorn to the descendant in Aries, the third quadrant would be the third year of the term, his term. And the fourth year, the last year of his term, is going to be the fourth, the quadrant from the midheaven to the ascendant, the 10th house, 11th. And we can see that the last year would be better for the executive or the government or his office because of Jupiter in the beginning of, so probably it's hard to do the math to see by, but we have to see, like if we have 3 zodiac signs, 90 degrees longitude, we would have more or less like 4 months for each house to see how the movement of the progressive ascendant. So that would be like right in the beginning of the year or the first month of the year after January, that would have this connection with Jupiter. I don't know if I was able to show, but anyways, the Capricorn brings this because we have planets, in this angular planets and the houses with midheaven, and it will start the first year, as I said, the end of the first year would be like November, December next year. This is a very explicit conflict between technique and emotion, work, home, family, social, domestic affairs, and the opposition for his government. We're going to see that. Then the beginning of, let's see if I have some. Okay, so we bring back Saturn, Neptune when it's now. It's interesting because this election and term start with Neptune and Saturn back into Pisces, the critical degrees. So as it is like the ending, the cleaning of something that has to be in place for next year, when again Saturn and Neptune would be in Aries and for some time, and also later Saturn during his term. Saturn is going to be in Aries, but in the seventh house. And we said, we see that in the sixth house that we have here. So in the second year of his term, by the end of, we might have those problems or some sort of, I don't know, cleansing, corruption with the whatever we see in the movies about NYPD, the police, everything, the workers, like public workers, let's say. Uranus was back in Taurus. So he also will be doing this, at the end of financial and issues, and Wall Street is right there, and we see there is a clash of interests. So it's very interesting to see that the election and his term will start with old patterns of last year, because we had this preview of the solar planets into new signs, air and fire signs, and now some of them are back to water and earth signs, and eventually in the next semester, and for sure a year from now, they are going to be. So we are going to see a difference of plans and actions, intentions, or whatever that we observe now is going to be different in the next semester. That is spring, right? Spring semester for the northern hemisphere, and then 1 year from now. So it's like a three-act opera. Let me see. Pluto in the Aquarius is very interesting too, because it's something that already in place. So this technological paradigm shift that is in place for the whole world, the ingress of Pluto is going to be very important, because it also shows is right opposite his ascendant for the birth chart that I have. It's a really challenging, or challenges from other people to and here is going to be playing out in the fourth house, with very domestic, with very has to do with all this connection with the land, with the city, the island, Manhattan, right? So we can see also Jupiter in Cancer. This is something I would like to observe and I will be monitoring, not just because next year Jupiter is going to be moving into Leo and opposing Pluto, Jupiter in Leo. And again, the north nodes in south node will be moving also into fire and air, Leo and Aquarius. So it's very interesting, because it's going to be I think what they call in America the midterm elections, that some people are already talking about. And in Brazil, as a world affair, it's going to be the presidential election here too. Oh, here is all what I said. The first quadrant for the year 2006, we have technical start and conflicts. With union, we could see with this, you can see all these planets, or some of these planets that are in the third house is square Saturn and Uranus in the sixth house. So we see this movement by the end of next year, if we do this analysis, each quadrant for the not only looking into transits and whatever techniques we would like to use, but also because what it shows here, the third house, it's going to be repeat in 2007, when the progressed ascendant is going to be conjunct the sixth house planets. As we have here, the peak pressure in administrative work because of the sixth house. Aries, Saturn, and Neptune trigger crisis again just by moving the signs from Pisces to Aries. In the year 2008, we are going to be talking. It's symbolic for the third quadrant from Aries to Cancer. We can see very interesting Uranus being showing in that pattern. So the progressive ascendant is going to be there, and also the Moon in the ninth house. So judicial, the Supreme Court, and all the subjects related to the ninth house. And the last year is 2029, corresponds to the last quadrant of the inauguration. We see Jupiter in the 10th house, although it's a square Chiron. I do not have much information by Chiron in mundane astrology, but we have some good points in this chart that shows trines and sextiles. So it's going to be this maybe very popular appeal and support recovery, because we are going to have the transits in Leo, but also the South Node is between 11th house that support and the 12th house, also because Virgo. But the nodes, they move backwards. So in transit, they will be more closer inside the 11th house. So I'm not going to be talking a lot of this because of the time being, but it's very interesting to see like how New York Times reacts, because it seems that it's going to be like emotional, something parallel to the Twin Towers when we have the September 11th. It was right the city and those buildings that were on the news, and finance and credit. So I was looking into the houses, unstable real estate market, low investment, immigration, strong emotional reaction, also because of ninth house, the Moon, infrastructure. That is something that he is already talking about. Transportation, technology. We spoke about Aquarius and Uranus. Forced modernization of the communication system. We saw this in September 11th. There was lack of communication between the NYPD, the police, and the fire workers. They were like in the same place and they could not communicate with each other. They would have to talk to their bases. That also had this. I don't know if people know about this. I don't know if it's in every country. I'm not. I have research, but it seems that the police officers, they have this grudge. They have not good relationship with the fire workers. So they don't have this relationship that I thought that would be natural. But ends is stronger than its beginning. I would like to thank this. I would just to show a little bit about this new kid on the New York City blocks. That reminds me that music talk. I could not think of any other movie talk about New York, Liza Minnelli. To see that if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. You can see, you can see the rulers of the world. And just for ending, I would like to show this. If we look, I invite people. I have done this. I haven't written. I can share. We look at his birth chart. That since he like in psychoanalysis, he projects a lot of his. This you see this Mars and the Sun in the third house in Libra. The Leo ascendant is very strange. Someone to have 0 degree as an ascendant. I don't know if it was rectified. It could be Cancer. It could be Leo. But anyways, we do have this. You see his Saturn is opposition to his ascendant, and Pluto in transit in Aquarius is also. It's so some of the astrologers, maybe ancient astrologers, said that the natal chart of the ruler, the king, the emperor, the president, becomes of some sort the chart of the city or the nation. So whatever happens to the mayor or president, it affects the people and the business. And the contrary also, the foundation, the New York chart is going to be reflected, is going to be connected. So that's a good synastry, because New York chart is going to be his chart. It's like a relocation chart of some sort, because whatever happens to New York under his administration is going to affect him. He's going to be responsible, like a boss or father or something like this. So basically, there's a lot. It's good to see a lot of people in the world. I know they don't know what is Brooklyn or Queens, Manhattan, Bronx. Is everything New York? It's not. So it's good. Probably we are going to see a lot of geography classes playing. Some also come out. So in geography, because of this. So that's it, basically.
Very good.
I cannot hear Rod, I guess.
Yeah, Rod is not you.
Go on, sorry.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but his North Node, and I have his chart here on my phone, his North Node and Uranus and Neptune, they are all in Capricorn, and they all sit on the IC of the inauguration chart. So the sun of the inauguration chart gets hit at the precise degree by Mamdani's natal Uranus, which is conjunct the North Node. So I think we're going to see a lot of stuff.
We are going to see and
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
this chart for a long
If
time.
you look at it the other way. And
Yeah.
speaking about young politicians, and this is all the Pluto in Scorpio generation. A couple of days ago, John Kennedy's grandson, Caroline's son, announced that he's running. He was born in 93. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. I feel
Unusual.
old now.
John Schloessenberg. So he's even younger than Mamdani.
Yeah.
But he's still Pluto in Scorpio generation.
Okay.
Oh, something that I forgot to say, but I will have a chance. As when I look at his chart, natal chart, as the new New York City chart, I say, my goodness, I found Gotham City. Is the Gotham City chart with Pluto and Mars in Scorpio. We're gonna see the bat, the bat. What do you call bate-carro lá? The bat, whatever. Bats everywhere. Those cars, and Bruce Wayne is gonna come to his rescue. I thought it was so interesting to see finally Gotham City.
Some of you know that I'm now enamored with Paolo Zettina, and he's got Paolo Zettina conjunct Mercury and Mars in Scorpio natally.
Scorpio.
So
Okay.
he's fighting for something.
Yeah. Any other comment? Well, I will quickly show you a chart, because I found the New York chart according to Mark Penfield, and he suggests that New York was building on the 1626 May 16 and 8:52 p.m. So here we have the New York chart according Penfield, Mark Penfield. He did a little bit historical research. And then this is the New York built as a new Amsterdam during that time. And then look at the chart, synastry with Mamdani. Pretty cute. Pretty cute. You have that Venus conjunct Jupiter. In the beginning, we all say, wow, that Venus Jupiter both in the detriment and for that is kind of a well. But have you seen that New York have Saturn in 8-degree Virgo? And then his Venus and Jupiter bring up that Saturn, that boring Saturn thingy, that bureaucracy thingy. And, that is very interesting. And then we know he has a Sun at 24-degree Libra, aligned with Arcturus and the Spica. And we know both the stars are the auspicious and the lovely, beautiful. It's right on New York's Jupiter and Neptune. He brings them some dreams, a beautiful dreams, a harmonic dream or balanced dream. So it is a very cute. And then we have that his Neptune is around the corner. So this is just a quick share with you. But if anyone has a comment about this chart, please share or find any interesting position. For example, his asteroid lying anywhere of New York City. That would be interesting.
Asteroid, incredible.
I
Asteroid.
know that is our Anna's trademark now. Anna, please.
Oh, yes. No, I was thinking about Chiron into Taurus. It
Yeah.
will create a square to the ascendant of New York and Saturn.
Ooh.
At this square and with Mars.
Yes.
So it will be a little taste to the upcoming year. And then when Chiron steps into Taurus
Taurus, yeah.
permanently, well, not permanently, but I think that in many years, it will be very interesting to see how it goes.
Exactly. And yet,
This is a really interesting biwheel. The synastry is really interesting. So firstly, his chart really is a Pluto half return for New York, which is he's going to be a key player in the future direction of New York. But I like that Venus Jupiter on Saturn because I think he can charm people. I've seen some of his social media. He is very clever at entertaining people. And my son, who is nearly 15, him and all his friends are watching all the TikTok videos. They love him. He can charm people with that Venus Jupiter. And again, he wants to make people happy by improving the transport. It's third house stuff, isn't it? The transport. So yeah, I think there's a lot to like here. I think he's definitely going to this is about change, definitely. This is new blood. This is new blood.
Yeah. Very cute.
One of the things that the kids like him so much is because they are very public how they met, he and his wife, on some Tinder kind of thing, That's where we met. That's where everybody meets. Come on.
So he speaks their language. They know the online dating and the dating on the app rather than.
I don't know if it was Tinder, but it was an application. They met online.
I know. Yes.
And they hit it off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And so this is completely new, because the politicians had to be respectable and stuff like that, or at least some kind of respectability. And the way he described it, it's like all the young people are doing. It's not. It's normal.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Anna, please.
No, just a quick comment. This Jupiter, Venus in Virgo in conjunction with the Saturn, he mentioned that he wants to make New York an affordable city.
Perfect. Yeah.
An affordable city, that he wants to reorganize the city to make New York not so expensive.
Yeah, gosh, I'm so disappointed I didn't hear Sadiq Khan or Keir Starmer saying that. London is so expensive. I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. No.
But I just have one question. We don't have to debate this now today, maybe. But for those of you guys that have walked many hours or day visiting New York City, I would like to to see if you really, besides the Wall Street and Taurus energy, and the restaurant and Little Italy, I felt a lot of Mercury and Gemini energy in the city, with all the subways and newspaper and the news and all this talk show. Louisa have been there, so we don't have to
Yeah,
talk.
it's the city that never sleeps. People
Mhm.
moving all the time,
Yeah.
Buying and selling.
buying
Yeah.
and selling and moving.
Yeah.
And so
And because I have this, I'm so Gemini. The first time I feel okay in New York, not anymore, but because it's now very dirty. But the first time I went to New York, there was a transit strike. So I got to know New York on foot from Brooklyn to Manhattan. And you get the sense that it's an immense city of people moving. And when you go to London or to Paris, there seems to be a schedule. They're moving from one place to the other at a certain time, another, and you don't
as
get
a
that
group,
in New York.
they move as a group. Then New York is like
It's
crazy ants. If you see
crazy
from
ants, exactly. Gemini ants everywhere. So Mercury in Gemini sounds that you got the right chart, Rod.
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has to
But no,
do, it has to
we
do
have
with the youth.
yeah, I have to
Student
credit back
youth
to the
is
Yeah, I have credit back to the Mark Penfield. In his book, he has a whole series of the horoscope of the USA and the Canada city. So nearly a lot of state and the city. This is recommended by Christine Skinner. When I study the estate agents and estate price, housing pricing, she is recommend go to study this book because it has a whole chart for whole city around the world. So it's very interesting. And if you ever any colleague need any chart of city, give me a shout. I have whole data, a lot of money, make it useful. Okay, I think we probably should stop here because I was about to talking about Japan and China, but we know they fight a cat and dog, so you know what, leave it alone. But let's finish here today. Everyone is happy and it's a nice weekend, so let's go to enjoy the weekend. And oh, don't forget, if you haven't booked our online conference from 5th to 7th of December, please come to join us. This year, we focus on the forecasting and the prediction technique for the personal and the mundane. So we have, this time we have Maria, Anna, and Lian going to give a presentation. And also Christine Skinner, Ling Bell will join us. Hakan will be so popular and he will come back with Zodiac releasing. So lot of things to learn. And unfortunately, well, we already finished the early bird price. So now it's a full price, but still very good price, £120. If you haven't booked your seat, please give us a shout and come to our website to book your place. Okay. And I will see everyone back on 12th of December. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
thank
bye.
you.